Coming up on the next episode of the Celsius Pod.
I'm gatekeeping Kite Man.
I'm gonna Venmo request Beck. I don't know, maybe $500. I guess that's might be the price for a gun. Why do we always solve every problem with murder?
$68.
What?
That's not right.
$86.
That's
Nope.
more.
87.
$87.
87.
All right, guys, coming off the heels
87.
of our longest episode of all time,
Yeah, as we keep doing it with only 3 of us. Just imagine what happens if Nicola comes back.
Imagine the day Nicola comes back and he has 28 different things he talks about.
I can't wait for the Nicola episode.
I cannot wait for the Nicola episode because I will be on my phone for 90% of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we have a lot to do today. RWBY, The Boys, House of the Dragon, Kite Man. We got some fire stuff that's come out this week.
Are you gonna can we decompress with talking about we went to Lion King?
Oh
We did see Lion
yes. Lion
Now,
King.
Beck has never seen Lion King.
I have
and he
seen
cried
Lion
at
King
Mufasa's
before.
death. Well, he
Yeah?
still cried at Mufasa's
I
death.
did not fucking cry. Okay, the thing is, me
he did
saying it
cry.
makes it sound a lot more like a credit. Says the guy that walked out during the sex scene, bro. Aiden, what was that?
I had to go to the bathroom, and already before the movie started, I said, the good news about having seen this movie before is that I know I can go to the bathroom during Love is in the Air.
You don't want
I
to
had
watch
planned that from the beginning.
the song that won best original song at the Oscars.
That song isn't very good. Not after Hakuna Matata. Come on, guys.
Hakuna
All right, let me
Matata.
get into my one big problem with the Lion King. Is that
Timon and Pumbaa show up halfway through the movie and there's not enough screen time for them.
I just feel like it's so short and simple. It kind of feels like nothing happened, you know?
I'm inclined to agree with Beck on that
Yeah,
point.
because it's like all you can be is like his dad dies, he runs away, he comes back. That's the movie.
Yeah, that is true. It is still pretty good though.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say, why would Scar is about to kill Simba? And he's all like, "I killed your dad," and then but then he gets the upper hand, and then tell him what you told me, just right 5 feet away.
Because he whispered it in his ear.
I don't know. It's
He
pretty
did.
loud.
I don't think you know the concept of being quiet. I think that's just a you problem.
That is definitely an Uri issue. He does not know how to be quiet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Loud men tell no lies.
Here, before we move on to actually what we're watching, I have 2 big announcements.
Ooh.
Announcement number 1. I got a Daisy amiibo. Hell yeah!
Congrats.
Aiden, when you were saying I got a duh, I was like, you got a date? And I was like, no,
No,
I can't do that.
no,
bro, imagine getting a date.
We got this. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
Very cool. Second order of business. Weird Al shadow dropped a song last night.
I did see that.
He dropped a new polka song called Polka Mania, and you'll never guess who animated the section of Olivia Rodrigo's Vampire. You'll never guess who animated it.
Yes, Uri can't.
Who do you think it is?
Uri, come on, guess.
Guess who animated the part in the music video
who's
of
a very
Olivia
famous
Rodrigo?
animator?
Is it the creator of the Owl House?
No, it's actually the creator of Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss.
Your 2 favorite shows, Uri, behind Steins Gate.
And also that guy that animated the Albuquerque music video so very long ago showed up in there. And that was really cool to see because he looked like he was having the time of his life being in that music video.
I do want to watch the music video. I only listened to the first part of the song.
Dude, last night I saw it on Spotify and I was shook.
You was
I was like, whoa, a shadow dropped Weird Al song of my favorite of his songs are the polka ones. And I was like, wow, a shadow drop song. And I was just listening through the entire song. audibly gasping at every single song that came out. Can I list all the songs that are
You
in
can
this one
list all
song?
the songs that came up.
So it starts off with "Bad Guy" by Billie Eilish.
I know that
and
song.
then transitions into "Hello" by Adele.
I know that
and
song.
then into "Flowers" by Miley Cyrus.
I know that one.
And then it goes to "We Don't Talk About Bruno."
That one. That was
Vampire.
very confusing to me.
Into "Vampire" by Olivia Rodrigo. Into "Old Town Road" by Lil Nas X.
I know that one.
Then "Despacito."
I know that one.
Into "Shape of You"
Know that
by
one.
Ed Sheeran. We got "Uptown Funk," a classic.
Classic.
We got hit with the with WAP. I'm sure everyone's familiar with that one.
Do not know that one.
You don't know the song "WAP"?
Pussy?
Oh,
Come on,
okay. When you said it in such a weird way.
I said
I thought you said
WAP.
double AP like AAP.
No, WAP, WAP.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got "Thank You Next" by Ariana Grande, and we got "Shake It Off" by Taylor Swift.
I also know
a very stacked song. It's a very mixed bag of like this song came out last year and this song came out in 2015. Like
yeah,
right, but very good song. I just wanted to say that.
I've never met someone who's actually like a Weird Al fan who who's that like someone who enjoys it. Yeah, I can understand that, but I've never met who's actively a fan in my life.
And to me,
it is.
Did you not see my Halloween costume from
you was
like last
literally
year?
Weird Al for Halloween.
I dressed up as Weird Al for Halloween. You missed that?
I don't remember.
Come on, man.
He was too busy in Ithaca, not participating in Halloween.
Watching Steins Gate or
Bro.
something.
It's the best show, though. It is the best show.
We've heard it here first. It's the best show.
Yep. Okay,
let's talk about
get into
another
individuals.
show. Actually, can you? I'll sacrifice myself to the gods again.
No, we're not doing it first. We're doing it last.
We have to do it last. It's too big.
Or else Beck might start crying now.
I want to see Beck cry eventually, so that's
wow. Okay, so I'll do my individual stuff right now. So first thing I watched 2 My Hero Academia movies. Now, I know you guys love hearing about the show, so I think you guys are gonna feel even better about me talking about the movies.
I think so. I think that might be the case.
I think that might be. I'm just gonna, for no unrelated reason, I will be on my phone, but I'm paying total attention.
He's googling the My Hero Academia lore right now, guys. He just needs to make sure he's caught up.
Of course.
Okay.
The first one I watched was My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. Now there are like 3 mainline movies, or there's like basically 3 movies, and I saw the first one because it was on Netflix, but then I got like a VPN recently, so I was able to watch the other 2. And Heroes Rising is like guys, they're on an island, and there's a bad guy, and they gotta fight the bad guy on the island, and it just kind of felt like nothing really interesting happened until like the last 15 minutes, which is like kind of where like the Izuku's like, I'm gonna give you this power. They share the power. They beat up the bad guy. It's really well animated.
Wait, Beck.
Yeah.
The first quirk manifested in a baby?
Yeah.
So it was a clearly new phenomenon at some point? Wow, interesting lore.
The baby is in the 3rd movie, Uri.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Let's go!
So, overall, the second movie, Heroes Rising, kind of just felt like you just watched like 3 episodes of the anime back to back, and it didn't really feel like a movie per se, except for the fact that like the animation was a bit better in the final battle. World Heroes Mission has like a really cool premise where it's like all the different heroes are in different countries around the world, and yet they only focus on one team and like cut to the other teams like for 2 minutes. It just But this one, it's like the main guy, he's on the run from the cops, so he has to run from the cops, and he befriends this guy. This guy's cool. They need to stop a bunch of bombs from going off around the world. They have the big fight. He wins. Day saved. Now, I do think this is the best of the 3 movies because it feels like the animation, you can see a noticeable difference between like the movie and the anime, especially in the fights. Like it's a lot smoother than like you'd see in like the normal show. And it also has a better premise that makes it feel like more unique as a movie. All right, those are my two
How many
My Hero.
movies are? How many movies of My Hero Academia are there?
3, and then a 4th one's coming out later this year.
And
Um,
is it like, or is it like continuing from the show? Is there still a show?
they have to do like side stories, so it's like technically canon to the show, but like they will never mention it at all on the show.
Mm.
Terrible.
Yeah. And the other thing I watched that isn't a co-watch is I watched Inside Out 2 for the
Oh my
4th
God.
time.
God damn it. We can't have this fucking
So, guys,
conversation
I
again.
really like it. Uri, do you have anything you want to say about it?
I'm gonna
No.
throw something. I'm
No.
gonna throw something.
Aiden, we're
Beck-
trying to have a really unique conversation right now.
Like,
A
I only
unique
have,
conversation that we've had 4 times already.
like, I just want to say this. I hope you die.
Wow.
That's very fair.
I do want to say I moved it up to 5 stars because I feel like
Why?
if I
Because
watch
if
it,
he's seen it that many
I've seen
times,
it
he has
4
to.
times in a month in the theaters. I feel like that is worthy of 5 stars.
I feel like
Yeah.
you guys go the opposite way because we've had a discussion before. You have to go 3.5.
I am not doing that. All
Ugh.
right. That's all my single stuff. Uri, do you have any singles?
Let me think, muchacho.
Oh,
I have
Longlegs,
one.
right?
Oh yeah. So, Longlegs. It's this movie I keep getting a lot of marketing for. Where it's like they did a really smart thing with the marketing because like Nicolas Cage plays a serial killer in this movie, but they never show his face in the entire movie in the entire marketing, which I thought was really smart. And then I got people really hyped for this. And so I'd been hearing that it was like it was pretty scary. People was like before and after watching Longlegs. I've been hearing people being really upset with it. And I watched it and I thought it was good, but it was not like the level I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was like really, really scary or something like that. But I think an issue I had with this movie is that not for the movie themselves, is that I brought the wrong person to see this movie with me,
Ooh.
and that can often tamper your experience. And I was thinking, my dad's about to leave to go on like a trip for like 2 weeks or something. I should probably, I want to see this movie, and he wants to see like a movie with me or any movie, but he's not really into horror movies that much.
Yeah.
He's not like scared or anything. I just don't think he finds them interesting. And so
That's
we
fair.
go to the theater, and like I would say for the first 2 parts of the movie, it kind of gets you really engaged because it feels like more of a kind of a Silence of the Lambs type of movie where it's like about FBI agent trying to track down a serial killer, and but then when it gets to like the third part and it gets really into the heavy up to the like the Satanist stuff and all the like the mystical horror things, I think that's probably when you checked out. I'm just gonna say I'm not told. I like horror movies. There's Smile and there's like the It franchise, and I've seen a few horror movies like here and there. I'm not really scared of them, but I find them pretty interesting. And but I would say I probably did lose like because when they reveal like who was the other like because like they catch Nicolas Cage as a serial killer, but then there's like he had an accomplice as well. But then when they reveal who the accomplice was, it felt kind of like easy and like it was someone you kind of expected who it was from all like the build up in the movie, and like it was I felt the ending was a bit too easy, and it was like cut into 3 parts of the movie, and unfortunately it got a bit too like easy with the plot. And so I think it was fine. I gave it like a 3 or 3.5, something like that. But yeah,
That's fair, I guess.
and I know just like when you have nothing feels worse than watching something with someone who doesn't kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know if you guys have those experiences, especially when you are the one who's suggesting the thing in the first place.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
tried to like, hey mom, have you heard of this show Scavenger's Reign? It's an animated sci-fi show. She's like, okay, sure. And then she was like, what the fuck is happening in this?
She didn't like it.
I think she
No.
kind of enjoyed it, but also kind of not, you know?
Did you finish the show with her or
No,
no?
we got like through one episode.
Oh.
Damn.
But yeah. And let's see what else. I'm thinking of what I've been watching, but we go to the movies so much nowadays. Like we go there, and then I'm thinking, I just gotta decompress from watching a movie in the theater.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Well,
And-
I watched 3 movies in one day, so that was
Wow.
kind of
Wow. Are they all Wallace and Gromit short films?
no. It was The Lion King and then 2 RWBY movies.
Oh shit! Yeah, but we can't talk about them.
We
Well,
Yeah,
can't
guess
talk
what?
Aiden,
about
what's your-
Me and Aiden had a plan. It was a great plan. It was.
Hey, plan's
we
still in
talk
effect.
about
Actually,
3 seasons of RWBY this week, one of the movies each of the following weeks, and then Ice
not one
Queen.
of the movies each of the following weeks. We watched both movies in 1 week.
Okay,
So we talk
fine.
about
That's
both
a change
movies.
from the plan.
Yeah.
And then we watch Ice Queendom the week after the movies. Aiden
Yeah.
has already watched both of the movies. And
Wow.
I
Yeah.
swear he's gonna like DM me one day and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna watch Ice Queendom right now.
We'll
Um,
see.
Yeah.
Or he's
guys-
already just watched Ice Queendom.
That'd be really funny if Uri watched Ice Queendom.
No, if
Yeah.
you
Because you
watch
definitely could.
it's like
Without prior knowledge, you could.
no, but
Oh, really?
he's paid attention to all our lore breakdowns. You know, he knows about dust. He knows
Exactly.
about semblances.
Yeah.
You know what? This isn't a movie thing. This is really funny. So me and Aiden and Beck were hanging out, but then Beck had to go do his like a hangout.
This is very funny.
Yeah.
Beck had to go do like a hangout with some people.
Yes.
So me and Aiden go back to my house, and then Aiden's coworker sends a picture of Beck to him.
No. He sees Beck.
He sees.
He sees Beck eating at the restaurant next to
I am.
next to where I work.
So I was
Here's-
supposed
here's
to
the con-
meet Aiden at 6:20 to watch the movies with him, but I texted him like, "Hey, can I just meet you at the theater at 7?" And he was just like, "Sure," but I didn't tell him why. So I was very
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah. So here's the conversation I had with my coworker. He says, "I see your Crip associated blue man friend," and I say, "No way." He says, "He's outside. I have a direct shot at him." I say, "I was at his house a bit ago. Now he's over here. I can't believe that guy." He says he's at the close seat to where I work. I feel like I should hassle him. I don't know. His friend is leaving college tomorrow. Fair enough. And then I say this. Is it a girl? This is important information, so I can hassle him later. And then I hear
Wow.
a pretty heavy girl to guy ratio. So apparently
It's
you were with a
me
bunch of
talking
people.
to my 2 neighbors and my neighbor's mom's graduate students.
Wow.
Yeah. Me and Aiden were thinking, wait, what does he mean by heavy girl to guy ratio exactly?
Yeah. So we did play. It was but
What's
it is
up?
very. Beck did think that I was standing behind
I
him,
did
which is very
think,
funny.
like I got the
Because
text.
I
I
sent
like
him the image.
he said I see you. He didn't just send me the photo. He literally was like I see you. Like he had just
Yeah.
and I'm like, wait, I don't remember Aiden works on this day. He was really at my house like a bit ago. Did he just go to? Is he gonna go to work for 1 hour and then go see this movie with me?
No, I was at Uri's house. I just have a secret op that works for me.
You do have an op.
Did not imagine Beck would got the message.
All the country son ops are after me.
Yeah.
Aiden, you watch any individual things?
I watched one individual thing.
If
It
only
is one
it
of
was
the
about.
it was one of the 3 DC things that I watched this week that I can only talk about 2 of them.
Yep.
A new Adventures with Superman episode.
Yes. The
Right,
finale.
Craig of the Creek is over, right?
No, there's like 4 episodes left, but they come out in like September. or whatever.
No.
So we gotta wait.
Not
So
Craig
anyway,
of the
what happens
Peak.
is Superman. Superman is trapped in his brain, and Lois tries to save him, and Brainiac keeps messing with it, and then Brainiac takes over Superman's brain, and he goes to Earth, where Jimmy and
Wow.
Kara and Lois's dead body are, and then Amanda Waller and Lex are like, we gotta kill Superman because we hate Superman. And then Kara's fighting Brainiac, and Lois is trying to save Superman in his mind, and then Lois saves Superman in his mind, and then they save the day, but they don't save the day. Superman is just free from his body. He gets a new armor redesign, and then they're all like, "We gotta go stop Brainiac." But Brainiac is immune to the kryptonite because he's a kryptonite immunity shield, and he has kryptonite. So it's like, what are we gonna do? And then the episode is over.
Mm,
So next
Fascinating.
episode is what we're gonna get the finale
that's
of
the
season 2.
finale.
And so
Yep.
over this past season of My Adventures with Superman,
Yeah.
sorry, I spoke so fast. With My Adventures with Superman, what are your overall thoughts about the season? Was it good?
I think this one's a little bit better than season 2 or season 1, just because we know all the characters and stuff, and I think like Brainiac and Kara are much more interesting than, I guess, Multiverse of Lois. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the like Superman is evil in almost every dimension is a cool idea, but like it's
It's a bit done
multiverse
to death.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's like we have the boys, which is basically
Yeah.
just
I
that.
feel
Yeah,
like they should like make a
Invincible is
joke. Like,
also
there's a lot
that.
of evil Supermans recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but it's good. But
Yeah.
because I mentioned the boys, do you guys want to talk about that?
Yes, we'll do the me
okay.
and Uri doubles.
Okay,
Then we can do the
yeah.
triple, and then we can do Robot Dreams, and then RWBY.
I have a lot of thoughts about the boys.
I
this season.
think this is one of the best episodes of the boys.
I think this is my take of the whole season. Might be, I'm gonna say second worst season, best finale though.
Yes.
Because if I were to rank the seasons, I'd go 1, 3, 4, 2. That's how I'd rank them, kind of.
Yeah.
Because my issue with the season 2 and season 3 finales is that, like with many people, it kind of returned back to the status quo in the start of the new season. And, like, it kind of regurgitated up and like something really interesting, but then it just kind of fell down, you know?
Yeah.
And
then this is this completely like goes away with like it was trying to say status quo. No, we're just gonna completely change every single thing.
Yeah. And so let's talk about what happened.
About the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
The episode is called Season 4 Finale. Why is it called that? That's really weird.
I wonder why, Beck.
I wonder why, Beck. So, obviously, there was a presidential assassination attempt like a week ago. And
the episode is called Assassination Run.
And the episode is called Assassination Run. And it's about them trying to assassinate the President of the United States. So they had to change the title, and then they have like an unskippable like disclaimer to start the episode. Being like, this was filmed in 2023. We do not condone any type of political violence. And I just thought it was really funny how they just were completely like panicking because of all that.
Yeah. And so, but let's talk about actually what happens in the episode itself. So here, you can start, Beck.
Okay, so it starts with like we have the shapeshifter assassin impersonating Starlight, and she proposes to Huey, and Huey says yes, and then the shapeshifter Starlight's like, haha, me and Huey, we're married. Sucks for you.
And she sort of confronts Starlight about the whole thing about, like, you know, you're not a good superhero, which is something, you know, I don't think it's been the strongest through line in this season, I'm gonna say. But they are sort of like thinking of what does it mean to be a hero, the concept of that. And so Starlight, by facing herself as the shapeshifter version of herself, she's facing who are you really, you know?
Yeah. And then they're like, okay, I'm going to assassinate the president using Starlight's body, and then people are going to think she killed the president. And then Frenchie is working on the virus to try to get it to kill Newman. And Homelander, he goes into his room, and he goes through Ryan's backpack and sees a photo of William Butcher and it gets really pissed, destroys the entire room. Ryan sees them and is like, okay, I'm gonna run away. So he runs away. Butcher is in the hospital. He's like about to die. But he has like the evil version of himself being like, come on, you gotta commit superhero genocide. You gotta do that. And then we have a news broadcast. It's Homelander with Victoria Newman, and they're like, wow, what is it? How does it feel being vice president elect? And Homeland's like, so you're a superhero. And
And
then
she's like, no, I'm not. And then he lasers her, and it proves that she is a superhero. And this is like a really interesting moment where she actually does try to use her powers on Homelander himself, but
yeah,
it doesn't work. And
yeah,
so it kind of proves that even she can't beat him with her head popping powers.
yeah.
And so
Does
he
he
ends the
feel it?
broadcast.
Does he know that she did that?
I
Well,
think.
I think, they're looking right at each other, so I don't really know. But we see that she's trying to do that, but she didn't manage to. And then he ends the broadcast, and like now this is where shit is going down because like what protected the boys is the fact that they had info on Newman, and if they died, they were going to release the info. But now that she's a superhero, it's all out in the open. So it essentially becomes a game of like they need to kill Robert Singer fast and the
Yeah,
president. And so, but Newman herself, now that Homelander has kind of like destroyed her life in a way, he's like, she kind of wants to get out of his thumb, like off. She just wants her daughter safe. And so she makes a deal with Huey, who's like, and also, by the way, the boys at this time, they're trying to make the virus. Like, Frenchie's trying to make the virus so they can attack Newman in the first place so they can save the president. And so everything is really like ramping up. It's in a very intense episode.
yeah,
And so we kind of get this thing where Butcher is trying to debate what to do, and so this is the ultimate test of like where Butcher is gonna lie. But you also gotta remember that 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 Butcher is like he has a virus, so that might infect his type of thinking and like what his choices are, and
yeah.
so
The tumor.
he's yeah, and so we're seeing that Ryan visits Butcher, and Grace comes there, and he really wants to ease Ryan into like because like him and Grace have this big plan that they want to tell Ryan to help them, but he wants to ease Ryan into it. But Grace, she's kind of panicking, and she kind of fumbles the bag by she tells like Homelander is a rapist and a genocidal murderer, and you gotta help, you gotta kill him, and then
Yeah,
makes arguably making sense that Ryan kind of freaks out from this. And he's like, "You can't keep me here," because he realizes this is like a big vault. And she says, "You have to help us." And then he's like, accidentally kind of pushes Grace too hard, and she goes into the wall and she dies. And then Ryan leaves. And this was such an important moment back, I'm gonna have to say, because like this was kind of like one of the the ultimately deciding factors for two characters here, because this is just proves ultimately to Butcher that he's deciding to
Bill
he's
Ryan.
gonna he has kill the soups. He has to go embrace his dark side. And for Ryan, because back throughout this entire season, we've seen potentials of what Ryan could be.
Yeah,
Like every other episode was like kind of like Ryan at the end of 7. It was like more, is he more of a good guy? And then at the end of 5, it was like, or 6, it was like he was slapping the director around. And so
Yeah.
we're seeing all these potentials of what Ryan could be. And ultimately, it could go in the end of season 5, where it's like he helps them at the end after some trying. But as for now, he's choosing the more dark path to stay with Homelander.
yeah. Or we don't necessarily know he's going back to Homelander. He could just be going off on his own.
But yeah, but it's enough for Butcher to realize that he can't rely on Ryan to help him.
Yeah.
And so we get that, and so the boys are feeling really screwed about what to do. Eventually, it all kind of boils down in like a bunker or something where the shapeshifter Starlight infiltrates, and then she starts attacking. Once Huey figures out, because he realizes that the same thing that Shapeshifter said earlier when in episode 7 is
Yeah.
what Starlight said now. So she attacks them, and they do manage to get the president safe.
Yeah.
But they manage to get the president safe, but Starlight manages to escape and fights other Starlight, and she manages to kill her, and so it kind of she's killing like that version of herself, kind of more metaphorically. I saw it as
Yeah.
and so we're seeing that she later, which is probably the weirdest part of the episode, where she was like later when they're all like safe, she gets really mad at Huey for having sex
I mean,
with
it kind of
Shapeshifter.
makes sense though.
It makes sense for the character. I don't understand people who like saying why is she acting so crazy, like as if that's not like humans are kind of weird, Humans
Yeah,
are like that.
and like also like, I mean, it's kind of fucked that like you. I mean, like even if like she like was trying really hard, like you don't like Starlight never like sees how accurate the shapeshifter version of her was. So like he's like, Huey, what the fuck? Do you not know who I am? You didn't recognize me with a shapeshifter? Yeah.
And yeah, I do think like the Huey and Starlight relationship has probably been the weakest points of the season. I'm gonna have to say it's like it never felt like they were really on the same page or really that connected in this season. And I thought that was like not the best written part of the story this
I
season.
thought they did have a good moment where Huey was like, "Yeah, I recognized her because of all these little flaws that you
Yeah.
do," and yeah,
But eventually she does apologize. They forgive each other later, and that's nice to see. And so now Newman calls up Huey, and she's like, I need to save my daughter. I'll help you kill Homelander if you just like help me save my daughter. And he's like, I don't know, but then he decides to do it, and then he does this really important speech in to the rest of the boys, like
we need to be the good
why do we
guys.
why do we always solve every problem with murder?
Yeah,
Like he's inspiring them to be good, and so you see they actually start to embrace that. And Frenchie does finally make the virus, but they decide they're not going to do that, and they're going to get Newman's help. And meanwhile, guys, surprisingly, A-Train did not die this season, and he didn't
A-Train
even
did
appear
not.
which I quite like. I did not want him to die, because like I think it
Yeah,
would ruin his character arc if he dies like just
I feel
in
like
the end of
he
this
could
season.
be a major part of season 5.
Yeah, but for right now, he didn't even appear in this episode.
Yeah.
He's probably off in the Bahamas somewhere. And meanwhile, let's talk about what happens at the. I'm gonna say, ultimately, the most comedic parts and most kind of useless parts of the season have just been Black Noir and the Deep. Like,
Okay, yeah, but they're like
don't.
the comedic relief parts.
Yeah, they're like they kill someone and like they're murder boner. I got a murder boner.
Yeah, so
And like,
Homelander's
okay.
thing is like, let's kill anyone who has
Because shit is
dirt on
going
us.
down. Shit is
Yeah.
going down,
And
they
he's
need
like,
to.
we need to kill Ashley, and then Ashley overhears that and injects herself with the V. But so
And
that's something I'm excited to
I
see.
thought, yeah, because so we don't. That's where she's left off in the season. It's something like her hair, like her head was starting to boil. And it makes
Yeah.
sense that she's had hair problems throughout the entire show, but
Yeah.
now her head is kind of like bubbling, and so we're gonna see how that plays out. But what I thought that was really cool about the Ashley character is that, like, ultimately her biggest mistake, she could have gone away with A-Train last season, but she was too scared because she was so embedded into the system, and now because she didn't leave, she's now stuck in this position where she had to take the V,
Yeah.
and now she's risking being like a monster or something. Ultimately, for her own like being too scared is what got her into this position, and she should have left last episode, but it's ultimately that character it's kind of like a tragedy for her, And so Deep in Black Noir, they're basically killing everyone in the 7 Tower who knows anything about them. Shit is going down for Homelander. He wants to find Ryan, but Ryan's like kind of missing because after he leaves the vault with Grace and Butcher, we don't really see him for the rest of the episode. But so he's kind of like building off to something more important, like in season 5, obviously.
Yeah.
And I want to bring up her character really fast because I don't. It's not going to be that important in this episode. But Firecracker, we see that she's getting really sick because of all the medicine she's taking for having to make breast milk to give to Homelander.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing how, even though she does all this thing for him, he does not give a single shit about her because she was getting sick. He's like, okay, sit away from me
Yeah.
further. And I can see a potential where it's like in season 5, she becomes one of the good guys, and like because Starlight maybe tries to turn her, after like kind of forgiving each other.
Yeah,
And I
maybe.
can see that. I can see a potential redeeming path for Firecracker after realizing that she's just working with a monster, And you love a good redemption, And I see there could be a really good one for Firecracker
Yeah,
in
maybe.
potential. There's only one character who really cannot be redeemed in the show, and that's
Homelander,
fucking
yeah.
No, he just
Uh,
needs a really good talking, just a really good talk.
yeah. So, and then
No,
the Victoria Newman goes to meet up with the boys, and they're like, "Okay,
and
yeah,
this
let's do the
and this is
deal."
the best scene of the whole show, in my opinion. Kind of, I
Yeah.
love this scene
So
so much.
everyone's cool, everyone's on the same page, and then Butcher walks in
Which
and
is
is like,
no
what's up?
deals.
No deals,
He's like,
and
no deals.
kills all of Newman's security and then rips her body in half.
Because it's revealed that the Joe Kessler part of him, like the soup virus that speaks to him, he gives him the powers of having tentacles from his body, and he fucking crunches Newman up with the tentacles, and like this is like a brutal scene because not for like violence part of it, but it's ultimately the destruction of the relationship between Butcher and the boys, where it's all like he takes the virus from Frenchie, and this is ultimately there could be a potential because it is like a virus within him. There could be a potential path of redemption between Butcher and the boys, still from season 5. I saw this as like the ultimate tethering of the relationship between them.
Yeah. And I feel like he's like a lot healthier because I feel like with the virus it was like trying to break him down. That when he finally gave in, it was able to like take control and like stopped killing him, and now it's like actually like helping him. Now
Yeah,
that he's like
and
going
so
on this kind of evil path.
yeah, but that evil path might make him into like an even worse person.
But it's kind of like the person that we need in the situation that we're going into in season 5.
Yeah, but it's everything's kind of blowing down, and so you see Newman's death got to the news, and Homelander's like kind of crying like a little baby's like, fuck, fuck. I mean, Sage finally comes in, and like it was kind of this could a lot of people predicted this that it was her plan all along, but she comes to Homelander and says, "Let's go," and he's like, "What? I made a different plan," and then it turns out that the president is getting arrested for his hit on Victoria Newman, and this was their plan all along. And now that the guy who was already swore to Homelander in episode 6, he's become president,
Yeah,
essentially
and
making
the
Homelander
Speaker of the House is like third in line, so he becomes president.
essentially Homelander becomes ruler of
Yeah, there
America.
was a really good scene where it's like the president's like standing at the podium and he's talking, and then Homelander's like pushes him aside, just like to show
Yeah.
he's actually in charge. I thought that was really cool.
And something that's really interesting. They have like a little final song played by Nirvana, Heart Shaped Box, and I'd actually been listening to that a while before this episode, which was cool.
Yeah, and
But
I feel like so much happens in these last like 2 minutes or something.
and so let's kind of break it down. So we get this really big idea of so Sage is now she's realizing that because she told Homelander her real plans, like because she might be the most villainous character on the show because Homelander is evil, but she's a true villain.
Yeah, because all she wants to do is like see if she could do it. Like, can I
And she's
take
like
down the government?
this was so much fun, and he was like, get ready for phase 2. And so there's been posters since the finale that's like Homelander at different like world places, and there's a big idea that the next phase 2 is taking over the world, which I totally see happening.
Yeah,
And so we're seeing how that Homelander will essentially put martial law across America and put his all his attackers into like privatized prisons. You see this big in these last 2 sequences of the boys trying to escape because now all their plans gone to shit. They're being like rounded up, and there's this moment where because earlier in the episode, you could say that Homeland Frenchie's and Kimiko's arc has been the same every season about trying to accept themselves about their forgiveness for
Yeah.
killing people. But I would say it finally kind of came to a conclusion in this
Because they like
season
they
where
kissed and it was like romantic.
and they
they're
accepted
like,
each other, like maybe we should just forgive each other,
yeah.
And then as they're trying to escape, fucking Kate and Sam from Gen
Gen
V come
Z?
like, and it's now it's canon that Sam is stronger than Kimiko,
Yeah.
and so he holds her back as Kate uses her powers to make Frenchie go away, and it's this really sad moment where it makes sense that this happened, but it's like I probably would have predicted this, but I found it so impactful where Kimiko's first words were no, trying to get Frenchie back, and that
Yeah.
was such a
I
powerful
think
moment.
that
I
was one of
found
the
it.
best moments in the episode where like she's finally speaking and it's like her just trying to save Frenchie. It was really cool.
Yeah. And so we're getting that Mother's Milk got attacked by Love Sausage again
Yeah.
while being attacked. Star they brought this one out of nowhere. I really thought they were not going to bring her character back, but Starlight and Huey are like trying to drive away, but then fucking Sydney from season 2 comes and uses her like implosion powers, and they catch Huey, but Starlight manages to fucking fly, which is pretty interesting because she finally flies. It shows that her flying is connected to her emotion because she's been trying to fly like pretty because she flew at the end of season 3 and she
Yeah.
was like starting to fly in this season, but now she sees she's fully ready, knows how to fly now, which
Yeah.
is
What
interesting.
is this, Steven Universe?
Yes.
And so Butcher is now finally where now like Butcher the show kind of ended on a Butcher like scene where it's like he's just driving and we see that Kessler is in the back seat showing how while Butcher might be driving, Kessler is still like in the part of him, and
Yeah.
we're seeing how he is ultimately he might go on a war path next season, and everything is leading up to be that season 5 might be the best season ever of the
Yeah.
boys. If they play it well, which I hope they do, everything is gonna pop off. I hope.
That is one of the main complaints I've heard for season 4 is like it's a lot of setup for season 5, but that just makes
Yeah.
season 5 like a lot more exciting.
Which
to
is
see what
why
they're
I
doing.
think I'm going back to my theory of the season 4 and season 5 need to feel like a part 1 and part 2 of a final season,
Yeah.
Where it's like some
and
where
then
it's all
for the,
like yeah.
and then for the post credit scene we have like
I was not
Homelander.
expecting this out of nowhere. Where it's like
Yeah.
Homelander figures out that you say it, Beck.
Soldier Boy is back. He's alive. So he's coming back in season 5, like everyone's favorite character.
Everybody fucking loves Soldier Boy.
She's
And we
so
also
fucking good.
I think Maeve might come back next season too.
Maybe.
'Cause I see a thing where she needs to help the boys or something and she gets like compound V or something again. I see that potential possibility. But let's overall, Beck, let's talk about our whole thoughts about this season. What are your entire thoughts about this season?
My entire thoughts of this season was I thought it had a really good hook initially, then it felt like it was going down throughout the rest of the season, but then the finale really piqued my interest and it made me really excited for season 5.
Yeah. I'm gonna say there were some parts of the season that were really chef's kiss, like the A Train arc. I love that. I really like all the Ryan and Homelander stuff. I thought that was really interesting. The boy stuff was kind of a mixed bag. It did feel like it felt a bit too easy to survive a superhero attack. Like it
Yeah.
never felt like any of the boys were ever in danger ever.
It
And
also
even
like
home,
sometimes felt they were doing too much stuff for like shock value,
yeah, like that scene where it's like the guy just multiple of himself just eating his ass.
Yeah.
Not necessary, but and the whole episode 6 Huey stuff. Huey's
Yeah.
big thing just being sexually assaulted this season.
Literally.
He got sexually assaulted like 20 times.
I think I remember seeing that.
Um,
I thought I said that.
Yeah, you did. It like broke a record for like the most sexual assault in the show.
I don't. It was on r/shitty movie details. I don't know if that's a reliable source.
No, but
He
he
might-
was because the thing is he and Starlight shapeshifter Starlight had sex 20 times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
At least he said so. We only saw like once or twice. But yeah, I was gonna be really happy if it was real Starlight that proposed to Huey, but it was like when it was shapeshifter Starlight, it was like, okay, this is not real, so this is kind
Yeah.
of sad.
But
But
yeah, it just feels like
yeah.
Huey went through so much like weird stuff, like the fake proposal. I feel really bad that he had to go through that. You know.
Yeah. And but ultimately, I'm gonna say, yeah, there's a lot of good things out of this season. It's still a strong show. I'm gonna say, not that great of a season, but still probably better than a lot of other TV shows out there. You know.
Yeah.
And Homeland, the actor for Homelander is such a genius actor. It's insane that he's not won a single Emmy ever, or not even nominated. But that's really good stuff. Carl Urban as Butcher is still fantastic. You know, the main cast are still. You know what's the funny thing, Beck? There's only 5 characters in the entire show who have appeared in every episode. You know which 5 characters they are?
Homelander, Butcher, Huey, Deep. I feel like it's gonna be like some random.
Surprisingly, yes, the Deep
Who's the
and
fifth?
Starlight.
Starlight. Yeah.
Starlight.
Yeah.
That's really funny that the Deep. But you know, it's everything. So I'll quickly talk about what I think season 5 is gonna be like. I think it's gonna be really similar to the comics in some aspects, like where it's like it's gonna be a full out war, and I think it has to be Butcher that kills Homelander, maybe in conjunction with Soldier Boy and Ryan.
Yeah. I feel like what was great is like the sense of dread that they set up with the season, where it
Yeah.
kind of just felt like everything was going to shit and nothing is gonna. It just created a really good feeling of dread, you know.
Yeah, the biggest thing I really hope to see next season explored is the Butcher Ryan Soldier Boy Homelander dynamic. You know,
Yeah.
that was a really good part of the finale of season 3, and I'm really excited to see how that plays out and who kills, like, because definitely some of the 4 of those, some of them have to kill each other, I believe.
Yeah,
know?
it's like grandfather, father, son, stepfather, kind of.
Dynamic there, which is
Yeah.
like really interesting. I was like the idea of like generational trauma between all the 4, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see how that dynamic plays out. I really hope they don't kind of nerf Butcher and like try to make him a good guy in the end of the season. I really hope he goes full out, let the virus thing take over his brain. And then maybe Huey has to kill Butcher, which is how the comics kind of ended, but I thought that could be really interesting.
That'd be a
Huey
good
kills-
ending.
And where Huey has to accept the darkness within himself and kills Butcher. Ultimately, the guy, because like their relationship is what started the show, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be really fascinating to see how that all plays out. Starlight is now. I didn't love what they did with Starlight this season, but the way she's left off is a really interesting spot.
She's like the only
Sister
member
Sage.
of the boys that's like free or like
Yeah,
not getting
except
arrested.
for Butcher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan's Sage, I'm still fascinated what she's going to do. I feel like it's going to get to a thing where it's like, you know, something Aiden that this show has kind of done. It's like people getting this. I don't think this is a really fair complaint of the show, that the fact that when is Homelander going to go crazy? But I don't think that's the point of the show. You know, like,
Yeah.
it's more about like it's not because yes, we're building up to this big thing, but it's like, is it more interesting to see how, the different dynamics of who he is instead of just him going crazy at any moment? It's more it's because like
And
a
also
death
like how
scene is
far he can go where people
Yeah.
will still be like okay with it.
which is why I've been seeing this theory that I believe that it's going to get to a point where, you know, Sage might be smart, but she doesn't realize when she knows her hand, when she doesn't know what she's getting into, and I feel like she's going to do something that Homeland can get really pissed off, and he will finally kill her.
Yeah.
And then he does that, and then he like goes crazy, and then even the far right side sees how much of a monster he is, and he goes crazy, and he he and the boys have one last battle, and that's how it kind of ends,
Yeah.
which is I think is a good dynamic to play out for the finale. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Good season, not the best, and like the whole the peaks of valley of this season weren't as much as the other three, but good finale. Season 4 finale titled. I thought they were gonna change it to something else.
They should
but just
change
season
it.
4.
It's season 4 finale. They gotta fucking change it. That I don't want to.
Just call it like, why didn't they call it like redacted or something like that?
That'd be a cool name.
Even just like, I don't know.
Just something that isn't.
Because
I feel like they
because
changed
every
it in like
na-
a week or something.
yeah, every name that they use is a name from a different comic, like from the comics.
Oh,
like,
that's cool.
yeah.
Wait,
But
House of the Dragon.
House of the Dragon. So Beck, I don't know about you, but like this was I'm gonna say I pretty like this episode. It was not like as good as episode 4 with the dragon stuff. It was more of a character building episode. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
say.
it kind of felt like not a lot really happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess there were some cool character things.
Yeah, you can talk about it because I talked a lot about. Boys.
Okay, Damon. He's in Harrenhal. He's building
Again.
Harrenhal. And then the Riverlands people are kind of mad at him because he's like trying to get them to join his army, and he's like trying to manage them. And then in King's Landing, so Aegon, he's like fucking on his deathbed dying. He's like barely alive. So like, okay, who do we make king? And then Allison's like, you know what? I'll do it. And then everyone in the council's like, no, we're doing Daemon.
You're a woman. You're
Aemond.
a woman. We can't have that.
Yeah, so they put Aemond on the throne, and the first thing he does is like, okay, guys, we are going to completely lock down the entire city and basically like put a ton of stuff into our military, which is kind of what we'd expect him to do.
Yeah.
And then Rhaenyra, what did Rhaenyra do this episode?
She's kind of just staying at
She's just like,
Dragon's
guys, they
Throne.
don't respect me because I'm a woman. And that's her whole thing. And then at the end, like I feel like every episode of the season has a really good stinger, but the stinger for this episode is like, guys, what if we get dragon riders that are only like half related to us? And this blows everyone's mind. Like this is unheard of.
Oh my god, we have like a Lannister on the dragon or something like that. A Charlie.
No.
A Charlie.
Yeah.
But Jace, I feel like in this episode, kind of Jace proves the type of king he could be.
Oh yeah,
he's the heir.
Yeah, and he makes the deal with the Trolleys.
Yeah. And something I think that's really interesting that in the history books and like Game of Thrones, it's kind of this war is mentioned as Dance of the Dragons between Rhaenyra and Aegon II, when it's really a battle between Rhaenyra and Aemond. Really,
yeah,
he's the true kind of like because he's now king and like he's kind of the real kind of
yeah. Aemond is king in all but name.
Yeah, which the thing is like Aemond might be like a better king, but he's also might be a tyrant,
Yeah.
And I could definitely see a tyrant path for him,
It's like, would you rather have an idiot or a dictator? That's basically who you're choosing between.
And yeah.
I feel like.
So what else? Missaria has some plans going on with Diana, which is the girl Aegon raped last season. Let's see. So Daemon, I feel like the whole Daemon arc is kind of like he's trying to face his inner demons, and like this whole big thing of this episode was like the idea of like the blacks are like, we are fucked. Daemon does not help us.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, Rhaenyra, is he with us? And then like Rhaenyra's okay, you know what? Go talk to him. Go talk to him. See.
And Daemon's like, you will call me king, and I'll give you king regent. He's like, you will call me king.
It's Simon Strong dropped with that. He's like, what would you call it? What would we call the husband of a queen? King? He's like, exactly. Consort.
Consort. Yeah.
Bam. He really roasted Damon with
Yep.
that. And so we're saying this whole thing is like, he's trying to be a little king in the Riverlands with trying to manage the Brackens and the Blackwoods. But he's ultimately failing to do that. And he's saying how, like, it doesn't matter how, like, powerful you are with a dragon. You don't have the temperament to rule and you can't control these people,
Yeah.
Which I kind of see as that kind of proving how much Damon is not fit to be king.
Yeah. But he just feels
let's-
like it's his birthright.
Corliss is kind of moping around this episode. He's like, my wife died. And
Yeah.
he's like, his granddaughters are like, you know what? I'm gonna protect Rhaenyra the way she wanted, the way your wife would have wanted, And he's like, fine, I'll be the king, hand of the king. And so we're gonna see, because finally we're gonna see something that finally him into action. Because like we've heard of the great tales of Corliss in the history. He's like, he's such a great sailor, but now can we see that battle within him? We'll see. We're seeing really how Allison is being kind of like disregarded kind of forever in this kingdom. It's like
Yeah.
she's losing her power bit by bit. And yeah, it was like an okay episode. I'm gonna say I quite liked it, but I thought it was more character building focus. I'm gonna have to say, and it's gonna be exciting for and I'm gonna say so far I think this has been the strongest show of the summer for me so far. Even though this episode was a bit weaker, I'm gonna say it feels stronger than The Boys and The Bear, but it's more. It has the biggest potential to be ruined in the last three. So we're gonna have to see.
Yeah. We gotta wait.
Like, yeah. The Bear you get all at once, and then The Boys still has its final season to really kind of tie the bow on the show.
Yeah. Me and Aiden, let's do Robot Dreams.
Cool. So randomly out of the blue, I was bored and I was like, hey, I wonder what the theater by our house is showing.
Mm.
The one that was supposed to show Robot Dreams in May and then didn't. So I looked because I was like, maybe they have Kinds of Kindness. I kind of don't have anything planned later today. I would like to go see Kinds of Kindness tonight again. And then I looked and I was like, well, they have Kinds of Kindness in 2 hours, but I can't make it to that one. But they do have Robot Dreams at 7. So let's call Beck right now while I'm supposed to be hanging out with him, but I'm
He's
actually
at
hanging
a
out with
cat
other
cafe. Me and Uri are filming like our shorts that Aiden showed up 2 hours late to.
No, it's okay.
But then he calls me. He's like, "Yeah, I'm at a cat cafe. Do you want to watch Robot Dreams tonight?" And I'm like, "You know what? Sure." Because I have wanted to see this movie, but the only time they showed it, I was away, and Aiden and Uri went all the way to San Francisco to see it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Now,
Can you talk about the 21st night of September for me?
Now, Uri, I don't know if you saw my Letterboxd review, but I did watching the movie, because one thing we said was that they play September a lot and that they show the Twin Towers a lot. Do you remember
Yeah,
this,
September
right?
11th.
I counted both of those. There were only 9 uses of September. Not that many. A lot of them were from the robot.
Yeah, the robot
But
just whistling.
There were 29 shots of the Twin Towers, though.
Yep. Aiden was
So-
pointing them out every single time.
And it was very funny every single time. You have to
It
admit.
was very funny.
That is one showing every 4 minutes on average. Even though like 10 of them were in the last 1 minute of the movie.
Well, Aiden, you have to understand, this movie was not over 2001. It's in the
You're right.
80s, so you gotta remember that.
You're right.
So,
yeah,
what are
but-
your thoughts on movies? Since
Let
we've
me
heard
give
about
my thoughts on the
Aiden's?
movie. We've already like recapped the plot, so I'm not gonna recap it again. But I just want to
Good
say
idea.
I think it was a really cool idea, having no dialogue, just like letting all the visuals speak for itself.
Yep.
I thought it was animated very well. A lot of the shots looked really good. I think the music choice was really good. It felt like that soundtrack was very fitting. Um, and I thought the emotional core was really good. I knew where the entire thing was going because you guys had talked about it on the podcast, but I still think it was amazing. And when they played September at the end and they were like dancing with each other with like the split screen,
You were crying.
I did shed a single tear. It was very
Wow.
emotional. I literally like said to myself, if they play September right now, I'm gonna cry, and then I did.
This is very sad.
Yeah.
Guys, you just gotta understand. Beck is a crier, you know, and he's not afraid to show emotion.
This is like
That's good.
I rarely cry at media. This was this no.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like you've been
This was
crying
a
a
bad
lot.
week for you.
It
Yeah,
was
you've been crying a lot.
it just happened because they were two back to back. Okay.
Okay, but Beck, you're also Thelma.
Do not say
Right.
Thelma. Do not say Thelma. Okay. But yeah,
You were bawling at Horizon.
I was bawling
I mean,
in pain.
that was in pain. I think we were all crying in pain.
Yeah. It was like torture, like when you cry after like getting shot in the leg. That's what Horizon felt like.
I mean, I was crying of laughter when they all blew up. That was pretty funny.
when they played Amazing Grace. Yeah,
and they all blew
but
up.
I think it was really good. The best way that I thought a really good way to describe it was kind of felt like La La Land, like that kind of ending where it's like the two
No,
people.
I haven't seen a review like that. I haven't seen a review on Letterboxd comparing it to La La Land.
Okay, well, keep in mind, I just felt that when I was watching it. I didn't read the reviews beforehand.
The last shot of the movie did feel like the La La Land ending, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's my thought on Robot Dreams. It was like one of the best shows.
One of the best movies.
I wish it had come out this year because it would like make it in like my top 3.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into Kite Man.
Okay.
Kite Man.
Hell yeah.
So
I did
we
watch
all
it.
watched Kite Man. For some reason, everyone watched my show.
What do you mean?
It's really weird.
Hey, I watched Harley Quinn before you did, Aiden.
Yeah, but listener, Kite Man is my favorite character.
I like Kite Man before you even
Aiden,
knew
I don't think you
Kite
should be
Man.
gatekeeping a character from us.
I'm gatekeeping Kite Man.
You're gatekeeping Kite Man.
This is my. I'm gonna say, should we describe the very thin plots of each of the episode? I guess.
Okay, episode 2 was better because it had a hot woman in it.
Sure. So Kite Man and his girlfriend, the ice girl that I forgot,
Golden Glider,
they are at a bar and they're like, "Wow, we're at a bar." And then Kite Man fucks up on Lex Luthor's mission, and then, which isn't his fault. His villain isn't Superman.
Yeah.
His villain is Batman. Kite Man can take down a regular guy. He can't take down Superman. That's not his fault. Lex Luthor can't even take down Superman. How they expect Kite Man to deal with that? Anyway, Lex is like, Kite Man, you live at this bar, basically. I'm gonna buy it for $10 million. And then Kite Man and his crew go and get $10 million from his dad.
I feel like Lex Luthor could have just been like, I will be now buying it for $11 million and just win, you know?
I mean, he didn't really want the bar.
Didn't
He
care.
kind of wanted to do it out of spite.
Yeah,
and
but
then
if he
was
wanted to
just
be
like, well,
extra spiteful, he could just be $11 million.
But he wants to steal the money from his dad's house because his dad rejected the money. So they have this plan, but then his dad's all like, "You know what? You take the money since it shows that you finally stood up to me." And then they saved the bar, and that's the end of the first episode.
And then the second episode is that they have the bar, and they're like, "Guys, we got to do a bar warming party because we're a grand reopening. We need to hire someone." And they hire this girl named Malice who has a cat named Cheshire, like Malice in Wonderland.
Yo,
like
that's crazy.
What?
That's like RWBY Volume 9.
Wow. I'm so glad we don't have to talk about it.
Anyway, she's a bitch and British. And her cat is evil and can grow big. And so the cat grow evil and grow big. And it attacks the Legion of Doom. And then Kite Man and Golden Glider stop the cat from attacking the Legion of Doom, and then people come to their party.
And his dad's all like, "Wait, I want to come in." It's like,
No.
but I'm gonna say this. Ultimately, it's not like I'm gonna say it's better than season 3 and 4 of Harley Quinn, but worse than season 1 and 2 of Harley Quinn. And so
That's also what I've
it
said.
kind of
Yeah.
lives in the average in between place of like it's a nice show that I'll enjoy every week. It's like a nice sitcom-y kind of thing. But it's nothing is like amazing or like
No, it
Yeah.
definitely sucks. It's not good.
I
It's
wouldn't
okay,
have
it's
watched
fine.
it if we weren't going to talk about it on the podcast.
It
I
was like fine.
probably would have
I
watched
find
it
I find the
anyway.
relationship between Golden Glider and Kiteman a bit too like overwhelmingly just kind of positive. Like it's too like
Yeah, I already
it's just,
can't
like,
imagine people in a happy relationship.
I find it too negative. Golden Glider fucking hates Kite
I
Man,
don't
dude.
think
What are you
that. I think
talking
it's too
about?
positive. I'm gonna say.
Dude, every
like,
time
both
he
like
says
each other, and
something,
that's
she's like,
cool.
every time he says something, she's like, dude, you're so stupid. Let's do this. And he's like, oh yeah, we could do that instead.
Kiteman is too much of an idiot in this show. I think.
I mean, he's always been an idiot.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was like a too overly. You know what? I think I wanted kind of like I like it's an okay show, Kite Man, obviously, but I feel like what would have been better is having a Kite Man B plot within Harley Quinn, which
Yeah.
that would have been a better like ultimate experience. This show does not need to happen. It just needs to be a little more of a focus within Harley Quinn, and that would have made Harley Quinn better.
Instead of
And
writing him out of 2 seasons of the
Yeah.
show.
yeah. And so, like, you know what? You want Kite Man? You'll give him a whole show. I don't want a whole show in Kite Man. I want a little bit of Kite Man to
Well,
make
you're
him,
wrong.
to savor Kite Man. You know, Kite Man is something you want to savor.
I guess that's fair. But I mean, I feel like that's just it's just what they've done to him is just indicative of all of Harley Quinn, really.
Yeah,
It's just like, hey, look at our cool, wacky cast of characters that we have in the first 2 seasons. Oh, you wanted to see more of them? No, we only have Harley Quinn and Ivy and the Bat Family. Those are your only characters now.
yeah.
Remember the Joker? He's not here anymore. Remember
They killed all the
fucking
good guys.
remember
Psycho.
Clayface? Remember King Shark?
Dr.
We
Psycho.
only have Bane now, and I like Bane,
Yeah.
but he's also weaseled his way into Kite Man being the secondary. He's the plot.
He's one of the main characters in Kite Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's one of the main characters in Harley Quinn. Remember the spaghetti episode? He's a main character in
And
Harley Quinn.
Fucking Harley Quinn and Ivy appear in the first episode of Kite Man.
Yeah.
That's fine though. I'm fine
That's
with
like a
that.
cameo.
That's fine. It's a nice cameo, but it's like I'm just saying. Ultimately, I feel like it would have been better if we just instead of this show, we just got Kite Man and more of a focus on Kite Man in Harley Quinn, and that
That's
would have made
fair.
Harley Quinn a better show. I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
and because like ultimately, it's interesting, but I don't really want a full episode of him just trying to find money for a bar. That seems like more of a secondary plot in a
Yeah.
Harley Quinn episode. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's written like Harley Quinn. It's
Sounds like
basically-
Harley Quinn.
it
Kind of
sounds like-
feels like Harley Quinn, but it doesn't fully.
it just has Kite Man in it.
Yeah.
instead.
But it's I don't want to hate on the show. It's a nice addition to this universe, I guess,
Yeah.
of DC. But it's like it's okay. There's nothing like they're gonna have to probably change up some things like in the next few episodes for me to really get engaged by it. But
It's just a very strange show. I think Harley Quinn in general is just like a strange series.
yeah.
Like it's not like the best thing that DC has ever made,
Yeah.
yet it has 4 seasons and a spin-off. And
Yeah.
like the entire like design of Harley has influenced how many countless other versions of Harley now.
Yeah.
Like-
Coming back from the original like Batman animated show, yeah.
Yeah. Like that's not like a design they use anymore. They don't ever use a Jester outfit. It's always
It's like
now
a joke being like, I'm not gonna wear this.
Yeah, it's always that, and it's always the pigtails, and she's now always a lesbian, which is fine. But
What's interesting about Harley Quinn is that the show kind of got bad when they started their lesbian relationship. I'm going to be honest, because I really liked Kite Man and Poison Ivy because they were like, it felt like they were really good together. Which with Golden Glider and Kite Man, I just don't feel that as much, you know.
Sure.
But that's just my thoughts, I guess.
Okay, should we get onto the big thing?
The big thing? You want to talk about the big thing, Beck?
Yeah, I do want to talk about the big thing.
Is this the last thing we have?
It is the last thing. Anyone have any emergency last thing they need to talk about? AKA Uri before RWBY.
I'm gonna Venmo request Beck. I don't know, maybe $500. I guess that's might be the price for a gun. And yeah, I will be.
You have
committing-
nothing. You have nothing to worry about because things happen this time.
Okay.
Really?
If you recall,
Okay. I'm gonna accept this if Beck does cry while talking about it.
I
so.
cannot.
All right.
I can't cry on command, Uri. It only happens during very intense emotional moments.
You can't
Yeah.
cry. You were literally about to do that right now.
Yeah.
I'm
So
Volume 7 basically splits the entire cast in 3.
No, that's Volume 8.
Oh shit! Yeah, wait, I'm fucking confused.
We have Volume 7 to
There's
start
still-
with. Come on,
Okay,
Beck.
sorry, season 7 and 8 feel like one big long season to me.
That's true. So season 7, they finally make it to Atlas after the trudge that is season 6, or at least the first half of season 6. So they make it to Atlas. They all get new mediocre designs, except for Nora.
I like the new designs.
I don't really
Except
care for
Jean.
short hair Blake.
Literally, all he cares about is that he doesn't like the Jean design. I like the new designs. I feel like they're cool.
Yeah, I don't really like the Jean design. His haircut looks super stupid. But they finally make it to Atlas, and they find Penny, and Penny's like, "Hey, salutations! It's me, Penny. This is my oldest dad." Yeah, and this is my oldest
season
dad.
3. She's back and ready to stay.
And here's my oldest hell dad, and Marie goes with him, and they don't show up.
You basically
ever.
never see Blind Woman again.
Good, because she was boring.
Kinda,
so they make it there, and then they get arrested by this thing called the Ace Operatives, the Ace Ops, like Ace Ops table. There are 5 named characters that do not matter.
Clover and Harriet are the 2 I can name.
Yep. There's Vine, I think is his name. The stretchy one, maybe?
The only one that matters is Clover.
But even then, he doesn't really.
Yeah.
But they go and they get arrested and they get taken to General Ironwood, Volume 3, and he's like, sorry, Team RWBY. I did not mean for you and your friends to be arrested. Please go on your way. Please join the Ace Ops and save Atlas. So then they go on a mission to save. They go fight a big ice, and we get introduced to all the characters and all their powers, and none of them matter. But we do get a kind of gay relationship between Crow and Clover.
Literally, that's what I was gonna say. Is like that's like Crow actually like learns to like someone and can like feel comfortable, and then the end of the season happens. It was really sad.
Yeah, because Clover, his semblance is good luck, which is the opposite of Crow's, which is bad luck. So Crow hangs out with Clover, and things happen that are good, which is great. And then things happen, and then General Ironwood is like, okay, everybody, I have a game plan. We're gonna send Amity Coliseum from Volume 3 up into space, and it will be a global communications tower, and it will be so far up in space, nothing can reach it, so it will be there forever. And everyone's like, that's a great idea, except for everyone in Atlas who thinks that all of the materials are just not going to them. And Atlas...
Ironwood is like, guys, we can't tell them that we're doing this helpful thing.
Or else they'll know that Salem is real, and then that will attract a lot of Grimm, and everyone will die.
Yeah.
So what's the below city
Mantle.
called again? Mantle, yeah. So Mantle is struggling, and there's this, and then they introduced 5 more named characters that do not matter. There's Robin Hill, Sheep, Trans, and the other one.
Trans?
Yeah, that. Yeah,
I
they
think
get like one important
Max.
line of dialogue.
I remember reading one time on their tablet it said like Max or something.
Max, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So that's the 4 named characters that they introduced
And
that
they're
don't matter. But they're
running
like
for political campaign
yeah, to be on the chair,
on the council.
on the council. And guess who else is running? Weiss's dad. I don't remember his name, but I also don't care.
I also don't care.
Weiss's dad and
Jacques.
Jacques, right.
Yeah.
So everything is going smoothly until Arthur Watts and Tyrion Kalos show up.
Yep.
Not
And
Tyrion.
They're bad guys. They work for Salem. Remember this?
Yeah.
Right.
So they work for Salem and they're bad guys and they are massacring people and they massacre people and then they blame it on Penny. And
So they're
everyone
making
thinks
Penny feel sad, and then that makes me feel sad.
And
me
Penny,
when I'm watching Ruby and they're mean to Penny.
Literally.
Penny
Put
is
image
the
up
Beck's
on the
favorite
screen.
character.
Yes.
Penny is Beck's favorite character.
Penny is my
She
favorite
a robot
character.
girl.
I really hope
She's-
she doesn't die.
Nope. Wow, I love some dramatic irony.
There was no dramatic irony at all.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're doing all this, and then turns out Watts, he built the entirety of like the technology
everything.
in Atlas, so he can
Yeah.
just hack into anything like really easily.
Can do it super easily.
So he rigs the election, and Jacques becomes like chair.
Yeah, and he's a bad guy
Yeah,
because he's working with Arthur to give Arthur access to. Well, he doesn't know that he's giving Arthur access because he's stupid, but he accidentally gives Arthur access to all of the military shit, and now Arthur has control over all of Atlas.
Yep, and that's really bad.
It is really
and
bad.
Once he has that, Salem decides to show up on a giant killer whale, Grim, with an entire army, and then shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
I
think
else?
that's about the end of it, right?
Yep.
But shit happens in season 7.
Season 7 is a lot of build up to everything falling apart in season 8.
Yeah, but we did forget to mention
like
they
boys.
We forgot to mention that they do arrest Jacques.
Yes.
They like find out what his plan is, and everyone is now fugitives because they're fugitives.
Okay, yeah. So what happens is Ironwood is like, okay, we're gonna tell the entirety of Atlas and Mantle. He tells the entirety of Atlas and Mantle. The Grimm show up. He's like, I fucked up. We're gonna go under martial law. We're gonna take Atlas all the way up into the sky. We're gonna leave everyone in Mantle to die, and that's just how this is gonna happen. And Ruby is like, no, you can't do that. And then everyone turns on Ruby, and Team Ruby fights the Aesops. They win. And then I feel like the Cinder stuff happened at the end of Volume 8, right?
We also forgot to say that they lose the relic that they have.
They do lose the genie relic, the relic of knowledge.
Yeah.
So we get set up that the Winter Maiden is like in Atlas and she's dying. And Winter Schnee, not to be confused with the Winter Maiden.
Winter Schnee, Weiss's older sister, is like, I'm supposed to be the Winter Maiden.
So Winter is supposed to be the Winter Maiden. You got this, Ari?
I understand.
Like things about choice and destiny and emotion.
I'm looking up the RWBY lore right now.
Great.
Yeah. And choice and destiny.
If you don't know what dust is, please tell us, because I still don't know.
Yeah.
What is what?
What is dust?
Anyway, so Cinder Flame, she comes in, she's like, I want to be the
I
Winter
will take the
and Summer
maiden.
Maiden. And then they fight Penny and Weiss, or not Weiss, Winter and yeah. And then Penny becomes the Winter Maiden.
I
It
was
says
so happy at this moment.
I
It
was also
says-
happy because it gave her character something important, and it also gave one of the main MacGuffins to one of the important characters.
Mm.
Finally.
Or were we
it
trying to
says
say?
dust is a crystal, and
Yeah,
crystals
we know that.
and they're a finite resource and a byproduct of the magic left behind humanity's first era.
Yes.
We did know that as well.
We know that.
What do you
How
need
do
to know
you
then?
use the dust?
You do it. What do you mean? You just do.
Okay, never mind. But Penny becomes the Winter Maiden. It's really cool. My favorite character gets to become really powerful. I'm really excited. It's a
Very
really
cool.
cool direction for her character, and also drives a
then-
big conflict between her and Ironwood, because she accidentally takes the maiden power that he really needs.
Yep. And then she leaves, and Ironwood's like, "Fuck, we needed that because I don't trust anyone anymore now that I've been told everything."
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
Team RWBY kind of thought was
Also
gonna
forget,
happen in the
here's what happens. Oscar is like tries to go like talk to Ironwood and get him to like, you can't do this. So he goes down to the vault, and Ironwood is like, you know what? Fuck you. Shoots a kid in the head and throws him off
Yo.
the edge of a flying building, and he falls down, but he survives. Great.
Yeah,
Volume
so-
8.
Volume 8. So everyone is wanted now. Every character that we know and love is being hunted for.
Oh no, shit,
And-
we forgot a big plot point. So while everyone's being said to be arrested, Clover, Robin Hill, and Crow and Tyrion are all like in a ship
Yeah,
flying
we
back to
forgot.
Atlas.
Yeah, so cause Clover's like, hey Crow, you're wanted for murder or something. We gotta arrest you, and then they fight. Well, Crow doesn't want to fight Clover, but he's also trying to fight Tyrion. It's like when you're playing free for all three person free for all in Smash, and everyone's ganging up on you. It's like that, and then Clover dies to Tyrion, and then Tyrion runs away.
Tyrion kills Clover with Crow's sword, and Crow's like fucking devastated, and I felt really bad for him because he's like one of my favorite
Arthur
characters.
Wash got arrested, but that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also arrested. And then we start volume 8. All of our characters are wanted by the police and stuff.
Yeah.
And Ruby's like, we gotta go put Amity Tower in the sky so everyone can hear our things. And Yang is like, no, we gotta go save everyone. And they're like, damn, we're gonna split up into groups. We're gonna have the woman group, and we're gonna have the better group. So
Wait,
then they split up into 2 groups. They have Ruby, Weiss, Blake, Penny, and Nora, and then they have Oscar, Jean, Yang, and Ren.
So basically, all the good characters on one team, and another team just has Jean.
Yeah. Even though that's the more interesting team that we follow.
Yeah.
Terrible. So I'll talk about Jean team. You talk about Penny team.
I
How
will.
about that?
So
then also what's happening is that Crow is in prison, and
we don't see him for like the entirety of the season.
Yeah, and that's yeah. But but you do the lame group, I'll do the cool group.
Okay, so the whole Team RWBY, not to be confused with Team RWBY, and not to be confused with RWBY. So Team RWBY goes and they're like, we need to break into this military headquarters to allow Amity Tower to launch. So they go, they break in, and they do that. And then Penny is like, okay, I need to help get the tower in the air. So Penny goes to get the tower in the air, but fucking bitch Watts hacks Penny, and now Penny is being hacked, and I'm fucking smashing my computer screen with my fist.
Ironwood freed Arthur Watts to get Penny to go to the vault to get the relic.
Yeah. And then Penny she gets Amity Tower in the air, but she gets hacked and she falls all the way down, and I'm fucking pissed.
Sure.
And then what's happening with main Team RWBY? Oh, this has happened a bit before, but like the Aesops, they're trying to get Penny before she can get to Amity Coliseum. So
Yeah.
when they're trying to activate it, the Aesops show up, and then they lock Penny in a room, and she's winning a 1v4 against all the Aesops because she's the GOAT, you know.
True.
And then Nora's whole thing is like, this is the first time she's like really been separated from Ren when they're not on the same team. So she's starting to realize, I kind of need to figure out who I am as my own person. And I'm like, good for you. Ren is kind of a terrible guy. His whole thing is that he doesn't feel emotion, and you're just kind of feeling a lot of pain because he isn't being responsive. And also, you're my favorite character, so it doesn't hurt. It kind of hurts seeing you get fucking no emotional support from Ren. So she's just like, I gotta do this. So she sucks in all the electricity from an electric door, puts out like the most powerful blast with her hammer, and then she gets put to sleep for like the next half of the season.
And also she has veins on her arms that are visible for
So
everyone
they
else.
go to the Weiss mansion. They go to heal Nora. They're healing Nora. Penny shows up, and they go to try to heal Penny, and Penny's trying to like fight the virus that's inside of her. And then that's kind of where this plotline ends, and it converges with Aiden's, which he'll get to.
Yeah, so Oscar and Jean and Yang and Ren are saving people in Mantle, and they're doing a good job at it until this one Grim shows up that can talk and is smart. And they're like, oh fuck, they can't normally do that. What's going on? And it kidnaps Oscar. And Oscar is now separated. And they try to chase after Oscar, but then they get stranded in the snowy desert tundra. Oscar gets his ass kicked by Salem and then Hazel, and Oscar's just like, "Oh fuck, guys, I gotta keep the secret of how to access Jin from Salem and their goons," and so he's just getting a beating, and Ozpin is also there in his mind, and Yang and John and Ren are like, "Guys, this sucks." And John is like, guys, we gotta stay positive. And Ren is like, no, you fucking no! Yang, you're a piece of shit. John, you're a cheating ass liar. I hate everyone. Kill yourself. And then he broods in the snow.
Yep. We really don't like Ren, is what you're hearing.
Yeah, Ren has his first he's showing of emotions since volume 4. When the last time he showed emotions. Takes every 4 seasons, Ren does something.
Yeah.
Ren is so boring. Like, they all get weapon upgrades in this season, and Ren is so boring. His weapons got upgraded to just be emerald guns.
Yeah.
There's no difference now between their two weapons. But Ren gets pissed at everyone, and Yang is like, do you think that she's mad that I'm on a different team? And John is like, you be all tough it out. They're siblings. And she's like, yeah, RWBY, because she's gay. This plot point does not matter for another season.
Okay,
and then
one question I had is, I might have just forgotten this. Is there any time when Blake is like, maybe I could go on my girlfriend's team instead of RWBY's team?
No.
Because I'm like, why would they? Why? I don't see in any situation why Blake would be like, yeah, I'm gonna go with RWBY instead of my girlfriend.
No, I don't know. Blake just kind of does that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I do not think the writers care about this relationship at all.
They don't really until season 9. But they're like stuck in the snow desert, and then they're like, uh-oh, there's a river of Grim going there. Uh-oh. and they call the Aesops, and they're like, Aesops, please save. There's a big grim going to the city, and they're like, actually, we're gonna arrest you and drop a bomb in the whale. And then they're like, wait, don't drop a bomb in the whale. Oscar's in there. And then Winter is like, okay, guys.
Like Pinocchio.
No, that's Penny. Penny's Pinocchio. Anyway, Winter's like, okay, you three can go in the whale and get Oscar out of there, but we are dropping the payload in like 5 minutes, so hurry. Be fast. So then they go in the whale. And Oscar, meanwhile, after getting his ass kicked, convinces Hazel that Salem is actually the bad guy, and Emerald just kind of comes to that conclusion on her own after realizing, she's like, wait a minute, Salem's a bad guy.
No way.
No way. And so Salem and Hazel are like, okay, Oscar, we're gonna get you out of here because you told us how the lamp works, and we're gonna get you out of here because we believe you and trust you. And they try to get out, and then Jean and Yang and John and Yang and Ren are have like a conversation, and Ren is like, I'm sorry, guys, that I yelled at you. I can see emotions now. And Jean has no fear. He just runs in. He believes that we could do this. And hell yeah, Jean.
Yeah.
Go. Yeah. So then they find Hazel and Oscar, and they try to run away. But then Salem catches all of them, and they're like, where are you going with the relic? My relic is missing. Because they didn't take the relic. It was actually Neo who took the relic while nobody was looking.
Yeah.
And then they all almost die, but then Hazel is like, I'm gonna save the day, and he puts a bunch of dust into him, and then he fights Salem, and then he loses and dies, and then Ozpin
pulls out this really cool technique,
and he explodes the whale with magic.
Yes, and I feel like it's like a really cool idea where it's like the staff has been accruing power, and it's been like passed down to all the different generations.
And he explodes Salem for like 5 episodes.
Yep.
Yeah, and then they all escape the whale, and they go to the Schnee Manor where they meet up with the other team, and the other team is like, hey, we killed the guy that kidnapped Oscar, and Ruby's like, yeah, it had silver eyes like our mom, which means our mom got turned into a monster and died.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that sucks. And then Penny is a robot, and she gets virused and tries to fly away to kill people.
Yeah.
Or not to kill people, to get to the vault.
But
then Nora's like, no, you're also, you have a soul. Just say no. And then Jean amps her, and then she's like, actually, I'm okay now.
Yes. So General Ironwood gives the ultimatum, which is like, you either give me Penny and she opens the vault and kills herself, or I will nuke my own city. You pick. So
do you want your friend and everyone to die, or do you want everyone to die? Yeah,
like literally the first scene, one of the first scenes of the season is one of his council members being like, "What are you doing?" and he just shoots him in the head in like 2 seconds.
They really lean into him. They're like, oh yeah, he's supposed to be the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz. We should probably lean into the fact that he has no heart.
Yep.
And they make him super heartless.
But RWBY team all the characters, they decide to team up and come up with a plan to save Penny, save Mantle, and
at least
get
the people
staff.
Mantle.
Yeah, at least the people of Mantle.
So
yeah.
The plan doesn't really matter. All that matters is that everything goes good. Winter and like the dog guy are on the on their team. Crow and Robin are free. They get Ironwood in jail. And
big stretchy guy sacrifices himself.
That's later.
Okay. Yeah, but no one cares about that plot line. So let's just skip
no one cares about that plot line. But they go to the vault, and Penny's about to explode, and they're like, hey, can you make Penny but just using the robot parts? and nothing else, and then Penny becomes a human.
Yes. I actually really like this part. I like any part that has Penny in this. In case you're keeping track. So
I keep track. I'm listening.
And
So,
she
Penny
was very
becomes a
happy that she was
human, and she's really happy, and she's hugging everyone, and she's like, she's finally like a real girl. It's like a really happy moment.
And then they make a bunch of portals everywhere in Atlas and Mantle that all go to Vacuum.
Yes.
And they are all placed within the realm of the vaults so that everyone could get there easily and safely. And they accounted for everything except for the fact that there are villains. And they forgot that part.
Yeah.
So Cinderflame, Neo, and Arthur Watts had Jin the whole time, and they wished to see what their plan was, and they saw the whole plan, and they kind of started to fuck everything over. They canceled the broadcast that that Team Ranger was or Team Orange was doing.
He's using my name.
Yeah, Team Orange. I want to see if this is a thing. Team ORNJ RWBY. Oh, it is actually a thing.
Let's go.
An informal 4-man team. Yeah.
It does kind of feel like the side 4 team.
This is fair that it does. Yeah. So Team Orange goes and tries to do something, but they fail because of Arthur Watts. And Cinder comes in. She's like, I'm going to kill everybody. And by everybody, Ruby and Penny. And Neo wants to kill Penny. And Neo tries to kill
Ruby.
Neo wants to kill Ruby, and Neo fights Ruby. And then Yang dies. They kill Yang.
Yes, because this is like all over a void.
And she falls into the void and dies.
Yes.
And there's a huge dramatic scene, and Blake is
not
way
cry.
more furious than Ruby is.
Yeah. One of the craziest things is later in this fight, Ruby will be falling, and Blake runs off the platform, dives to try to save her, but when her girlfriend's falling into the void, she does nothing. It's fucking crazy.
No. So, they fight. So Neo fights Ruby, and they fight, and Penny fights Cinderflame, and they fight, and everyone's getting to Vacuo, but you can't. But they accidentally made it one way, so you can't actually leave from Vacuo. So everyone's trapped over there in the desert sandstorm with the Grim, and like, shoot, that's bad. And then Ruby and Blake both die in the void, and it's like, uh-oh, that's bad.
All right.
And Jean is like, Laura, go get the rest of the characters. And then this is where, and then Neo also falls in the void too.
I got it from here.
Oh, I want to say one thing.
Okay.
Before the cards are down. Ruby, Yang, Blake are all gone. Neo's out of the equation, but we still have Cinder, who has 2 of the relics right now. And who are we left with? We're left with Penny, Beck's favorite character, Jean, my favorite character, and Weiss. Weiss is also there.
If they had more there, that would be peak lineup. But
we have this almost peak lineup.
Almost peak lineup. My character
against Cinder.
My favorite character with the winter power, and throughout this entire fight, I'm like, okay, they just did all this cool setup. They have this cool new Penny design. She's a human. She has the Winter Maiden power. She's popping off. Then like they can't do anything. She has like plot armor because like they're doing all this cool stuff with her. They can't just immediately kill her. So she's doing this cool fight. She has like when she's in a robot form, she has this really cool like thing where she's like these like mechanical swords that pop out of her back with strings. She gets those, but with magic now because she's the Winter Maiden, and she's going up and she's beating up Cinder in the human form. It's really cool. They put down John, Penny, Weiss. They're all facing down Cinder, but then Cinder, she throws out Path, blocks all of them off, and then blindsides Penny with a grim hand right to her chest. And I knew something bad was happening here. I know Uri.
Playing the sad music.
Uri has seen the clip. We have posted. Aiden was recording my reaction to this.
Yeah.
So Penny does get stabbed with Cinder's Cinder's grim
You can see
arm,
that Beck is struggling talking about this. He's choking up.
and then she's falling on the ground, and the whole thing is when a maiden dies, she has to decide who to pass the maiden powers on to. So she's laying on the ground, and she's like, I gotta pass on the power. And Jean is there, and he's fucking like doesn't know what to do. But eventually, Penny is like, you need to kill me, basically. So what Jean does is he stabs her with his sword, and she dies. Which is kind of
He's fucking tearing up now.
what's
Yeah.
fucking very ironic is so Penny has died like 3 times in this show. The first time she died in season 3, it was from Pyrrha, who's Jean's girlfriend. And then now Penny's died again because of Jean. So for some reason, that relationship just loves killing Penny.
True.
Why? What makes you think she won't come back again?
Okay.
She got turned into a human.
The whole thing that she was able to come back was because she was a robot. But
Yeah.
she became a human using the staff thingy. So it was all that, and then we have the final scene where she's like in this like little like room. They're like playing sad music, and Winter is fighting Ironwood right now. And we cut to this like white void, and it's Penny, and she says her iconic salutations. And she's like, Winter, I want you to have the Winter Maiden power. And she gives the Winter
Like how many
Maiden.
fucking tears are in your eyes right now? You
Winter
are wiping
gives-
out.
Winter gives Penny gives the Winter power to Winter, and then she dies. Penny dies for real this time.
Yeah.
And
And then Winter
I'm fucking dying here. My favorite character. They just did like the coolest possible thing with her. She's human now. She has the Winter Maiden powers. She has these really cool swords. Everything is going good. If you're a Penny fan, you're popping off right now. She has all this cool stuff, and they just decide to kill her. It's so fucking sad.
There was a lot. So I wanted to watch the last like 4 episodes with Beck because I thought it would be really funny knowing all of the things that happened to Penny. There earlier when she's like has the virus, she tells RWBY to kill her,
And
Beck was like, "No, don't do that." And I'm like, wow, I hope that doesn't happen. And then Beck is like, wow, she's a human. She has plot armor now. I'm like, yep, sure does. And when Penny's robot self dies, I'm like, wow, sorry, Beck, you have to watch Penny die again. He's like, yeah, it's kind of disturbing, actually. And I'm like, uh-oh.
Was it was it a good writing decision, you think, to kill Penny, or is it you just don't like? Was it just sad, or is you don't think it was a good decision?
I don't know. I don't know.
I have no idea.
This like I know I said I cried at 2 things. I did cry when Penny died. It's
Yeah, we know there's a short about it.
She was my favorite character. She was such a good character. So fucking sad.
I think they have to. I think she's too powerful for like being in the main cast of like Ragtag Kids. So I think they kind of had to get her out of there. I get that, but also I do get that, but I don't know. She really only has a mainstay relationship with RWBY, is the thing.
I guess, but like she's such a good character.
I do understand that. So while Penny dies, Winter beats Ironwood, and she goes up to help, and then Weiss falls in the hole, and then they're like, "Oh no!" And then Cinder gets the stick and stops the void portals happening, and Winter has to leave. She leaves to vacuum, and John, he's running up the platform. He's running, and he falls also. And so the 6 characters that have fallen in the hole are Team RWBY, Jean, and Neo, which sets up season 9.
Yeah.
but that's pretty much where we
But
end.
Beck
Oh,
was too
except-
depressed to watch season 9, so
I
he
was
can't.
Yeah.
meant to watch Volume 9, but Aiden,
yeah.
but Aiden kept being like, I need to watch it with you, so I couldn't watch it on my own time. And then after this Volume 8, I watched the
Very
first
sorry,
episode
but-
of season 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, there.
Beck is
you're-
acting like this is a fucking real death in his life.
Anyway, there. Salem and
what's crazy is like if I have to explain to someone what was happening, I'm like, okay, so this is the third time this character has died. But she was a robot, but then they used the staff to create a human version of her. But then there's a lot of times when people are like, this fantasy show, don't worry, the lore a bit confusing, but it makes sense. This is like, I don't know how I would explain this to anyone. It is like the most confusing lore and story I've ever watched in my life.
I know
Yeah.
if Nicola was here, he'd probably call you a loser virgin by
He
now.
probably
I feel
would.
like you're just saying that so you can call me a loser virgin right now.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. No, but
Anyway-
I understand being emotionally invested in a show that is
Yeah.
confusing to
Like-
others people.
Like, Uri, I haven't cried at House of the Dragon. I've cried at RWBY, so RWBY's the better show.
That's just not true. But well, is that all you have to say
No,
on
that's
RWBY?
not. That's not it. That's not it. There's a little bit more.
Okay.
Cinderflame goes to Salem, and she's like, I got the relics back, but Neo is dead, and also Team RWBY is dead, and also Jean, and everyone is in vacuo. But I did flood everything, and I have destroyed Mantle and Atlas, and also General Ironwood is dead, and Arthur Watts is dead, and Salem is like, that's okay, whatever the price we need to pay to get all the relics, and then they leave.
Wow.
And then that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I did watch the first episode of Volume 9. And
So we'll talk about Volume 9 next.
Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
so I think next week we'll talk about Volume 9 and the 2 movies.
And
If
so,
I can
would you guys
film-
say this show has been?
We can do the 2 movies after.
Would
Okay.
you guys say the show has been decreasing with quality, or like is the quality stayed consistent?
It's kind of
It's
like,
consistent.
for
ish.
me, it felt like it's kind of like on a cycle.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
It starts
Volume
off
8
with
is like Volume 3. And then
Yeah.
feels like Volume 9 is gonna be like Volume 4.
no. So here's the thing. I've seen Volume 9 already.
Yeah.
So Volume 1 to 3 goes in the cycle of not that good to pretty all right to really good. And then Volume 4 and 5 are pretty not that good to pretty good. And then Volume 6 through 8 is like pretty okay, pretty good, really good. And then Volume 9 just has all of that contained within it.
But wait, it has the 3 stages in itself?
Yeah,
So-
the first 5 episodes are kind of boring.
I know.
And then
watch one of them.
Jean shows up. And then Jean shows up. This is not my bias talking. I'm just saying this because like they actually do like lore stuff and character stuff, and it actually gets interesting like when Jean shows up.
Got it.
That's not just me saying shit. That's like
The
actually
one
what
problem
happened.
I feel with all I've
Yeah.
seen from this one episode in the intro is it
Yeah.
feels like it's introducing so much random stuff that has nothing to do with the main story. And they're just trying to fuck around in Wonderland for a season.
That's fair. It's fun. It's fun. Like nothing really happens. RWBY goes through an arc. Yang and Blake go through an arc, and Weiss becomes the best Team RWBY character. But other than that, nothing really. I guess Jean also goes through an arc, but he kind of they kind of void it out at the end. And Neo goes through an arc also.
Yeah, it seems like Neo's
I
like
guess
the main villain of the season.
Neo is the main villain of the season. She doesn't do anything until halfway through, and when she does show up, she fucks shit up.
For me,
Not like in a physical way, but in a I am going to emotionally manipulate RWBY way.
okay.
And I was like, no fucking shot. They do that, and then they do it, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Uri, one thing.
Beck, you're not gonna like it at all.
Great. Uri, one thing I want to explain to you is like there's like when people think of like RWBY characters, they think of like the 4 main RWBY. But for some
Yeah.
reason, everyone fucking loves this one character called Neapolitan. Because her whole thing is that she doesn't speak and she has an umbrella and she can shapeshift. And I don't know why people like her so much.
She's really boring, actually.
People are like, guys, I fucking love Neapolitan. I'm like, she does like nothing.
Why? I'm Googling. Why is Neo RWBY so popular? Okay,
But she
Reddit
doesn't
thread.
talk.
Why is she cool design, fun gimmick? That's not helpful. That's everything.
All right. Well, I think we'll end free Uri from his torture of hearing about RWBY. Uri, please prepare yourself for another 3 weeks of RWBY.
I thought it was just the season's volume 9 and 2 movies.
Yeah, so next week's volume 9, the week after that's the 2 movies, and the week after that is
Why can't you do
Iceland.
volume 9 and the 2 movies?
We could.
Because we want to because we need to, because we fucked it up.
So
Yeah.
we didn't binge too
we
much
need to
of the show.
We need to stretch it out for 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
We need 87, 88, 89.
I hope Beck goes to college with RWBY off his chest, you know?
It'll be forever part of him, I think.
It will forever be a part of me.
Yeah, it's forever online.
You know, what's great is I really hope after college, you know, I go and I get to job writing on RWBY. I feel like that'd be really cool.
It's still gonna be on when you. It's not.
I
The
hope
show's not
I make
over.
Volume 10 and I can write it, which I will somehow bring back Penny from the dead for a 4th time.
The show is definitely not over. There's definitely gonna be
a company literally just made like a very public announcement about buying it, and in so doing, they removed every song from Spotify, which is fucking sucks. Because I was at 3 a.m. like today, I was like listening to the soundtrack at night, and I'm like, this is so cool. And I try to listen to the song 1 second, it goes to another song, it skips over it. No, click on it. It fucking auto skips them.
No, they're gone. They're gone.
They're all gone. It fucking sucks.
Well,
it got like live removed at 3 a.m.
Let's do the advice. You know, they say never go to bed angry. Never leave a podcast angry. So what's the recommendation?
I am going to recommend. What did I watch this week?
Lion King.
Watch Lion King or Robot Dreams. And if you're own a movie theater, try to get the distribution rights for Robot Dreams and get it in your theater.
Yeah.
And if you work on RWBY, please bring back Penny.
I will send you my application. I am a true RWBY fan. You can hire me.
Yeah.
Okay. Always just. Oh wait. Aiden, what's the weather?
Oh yeah.
We've never forgotten. We've never forgotten.
78.
Nice. Always use Celsius.
Always use Celsius. We'll see you next week.